Alright, hello everybody. Today I'm going to be teaching you the easiest way possible how to stream on Twitch or YouTube or really just about any streaming service on a free-to-use software. The free-to-use software is Streamlabs OBS, and you can get it with a link that I have right here. You can go over here and download it. Here's my page on it with all my donations and everything. Haven't got any donations yet. I'm just now starting out on it, just like I would assume that everyone else would be. But that's besides the point. You can go straight to their home page here, if I can get to it, and then you can download Streamlabs here. And after you download it, I would create an account before you download it just so that you can get that out of the way. But after you download it, you'll get a screen that's blank. You'll get something along the lines of this. So this is what you'll be starting out with. Now I suggest if you're not very good at, what would the word be? Graphical design. I would go over here to the themes because it's just much easier. And I would go ahead and get one that's pre-made for yourself. Like, for instance, the easiest thing, in my opinion, would be to go, because you can get Prime of this as well, and that'll give you better or more things you can use. But since you're just starting out, you don't want to have to pay the money for that. So type in free, and then all of these pop up. All these are free to use, and they all look pretty decent. You can have a webcam. I don't really prefer not to have my webcam on, just because I'm just starting out and I don't really want to show my face. I'm a little bit shy about that. But whenever you get one of these, you can download one. I'll download an extra one real quick just so that you can see what it looks like. We'll get this one, install overlay. That easy. This is just how you set up your scene. See, now you got the starting shortly. You got all this stuff here. It comes with everything right here. And you can edit all these boxes. But one thing that it may not give you, because see, it gives you that. You're supposed to delete the background, by the way. But it doesn't show you what you're capturing. And it has to be right back. Stuff where you can add videos to it. If you don't want to use these, you just don't have to click on them, and then you'll be fine. But for the live stream, which is what you'll be streaming on, the easiest thing you can do, first you would delete this, unless you just for some reason want to keep it and try to move it around. I prefer not to try to do that because it's just kind of difficult. It adds more drama whenever you don't need it. But you'll do that, go down here, click the plus, go over to standard, and then you can either do display capture if you're going to be doing tutorials like this one, or you can do game capture if you're doing something like Minecraft or any other video game. Now I'm going to do game capture because this is a stream after all. And we'll hit add source. Add source, rename it, whatever you want to do. And then you look right here. It's looking right there. And all you got to do for game capture, if you have it on auto, it'll just click to whatever game pulls up if it recognizes it as a game. And I wouldn't really mess with any of this unless you know what you're doing, because I didn't have to, and my stuff pops up perfectly fine. Now that's all you really need to know for your actual game. Now if you're going to have your overlays over it, you need to move them above it in the listing, like that, so that everything will be up there. And you can edit these. I will show you real quickly how to edit them. You'll go here, and then you go over to properties of it, which I think that this is actually an extendable file. Yeah. So right here will be the text, and then you can do all your text through here. It has the recent donator and all that up there. But you'll go right to here, and then you can go over to properties, and you can edit the text there. And that's for just about everything on here. Now we're going to go over some settings. Now, the first thing you want to do is go to an internet speed testing. Like if you have Wi-Fi, I would suggest getting a wired connection for streaming. But if you can't, or if you're streaming on a laptop that doesn't have a wired connection, like my laptop doesn't have an Ethernet cable connection, then I would go ahead and go test it. I'll leave a link in the description below to a website where you can test your speed. But anyway, That's something you need to do, and hang on to that number. But you need to make sure that you're streaming to whatever service it is you're trying to stream to. I'm streaming to YouTube mostly. And now, after that, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. For output, I use advanced just because I like that better. I like being able to have all this organized the way it is. That's just my opinion. You can use simple, but I prefer advanced. So for streaming, I don't mess with this. The hardware. Now, you're going to change this to hardware for the encoder if you have a graphics card, specifically a NVIDIA graphics card. And that's just better unless you have an amazing CPU for some reason. I don't, so I use the graphics card. So you don't have to worry about that. For the rate control, you want that to be CBR. Now, bitrate. This is where your internet comes in. So your bitrate is measured in kbps. And for every mbps, you have to tack on about 3 zeros. So my upload speed is 9 mbps. Now it fluctuates. Other people in the house get on the internet, so I put my bitrate at 8000 kbps, which is 8 mbps, which just makes things run a little bit better. I won't really lag that much while I'm streaming doing it this way. And that'll put me at 1080p at 60 frames per second roughly. Now, if you're going to be trying to stream at 1080p, you want to have your bitrate anywhere between 4500 and 9000. 9000 is the max for YouTube anyway. So if your upload speed is 9 mbps or 10 mbps, just pop that thing right on 9000 and you're good to go. Now your keyframe interval, you want that at 2. I personally prefer max quality and the profile high. You can see that's just the 2 top options. And you can look at this down here. I believe that was the same whenever I got it, but I can't remember honestly at this point. But you can look at all these settings here, and that'll show you that. Now I'm going to skip right over to video. So for video, this is what you're going to be capturing and what your display is in the background. So in the background, this is going to be your display, your canvas. You can change the size of this, and it'll change what's going on back there. Now a lot of people will suggest streaming with the canvas a little bit smaller to reduce lag. I don't have a problem with any lag from it. I just don't get any lag from it. But for my output scale, I do make sure it's 920 by 1080p. And this is one of the most important things. This is one thing I messed up on so many times trying to figure this out. And it's so easy to overlook. The downscale filter you want to be, if you're doing a high quality video, you want it to be this one. The 32 samples. It's got to be that one. Now FPS type, I do common FPS values. And common FPS values, I set at 60. Because you don't really need to stream any higher than 60 frames per second. And alright, so that's all that smooth jazz. Let's go down to done. I have something hitting my mouse. Disregard that. But then if you want to go live, I'm not actually going to turn my live stream on while I'm doing this, but you can have your create new event. I always just leave that like that. Put in your name or title here. This is the last stream I did. And you can add music and everything else to it too. I wouldn't do that right off the bat. If you do need to do that, there are some more tutorials on YouTube that aren't mine that you can do that with. I'm mainly making this tutorial for people that are new, just trying to figure things out, and I'm trying to get the exact basics out there as fast as I can so you can start streaming. You can change your privacy here. I mean, all this is pretty self-explanatory. Category, all this stuff just changes your settings on YouTube, and you can still change them later. You'll have a few things that pop up here, and that's about the basics. You can actually go to your stream right here, and your chat will pop up here. So that's about all you really need to know to start. Now, I'm going to close that. For the recent donor and all of that, I would be a little bit more wary, I guess. Because sometimes it may not be set up right in the themes, but usually it is. I like the widgets more because I like the alert boxes more. Because with the alert box, it just pops the things up for you. And you can change the alert box to be your subscribers, your donators, your super chats, all of that. But anyway, guys, that's about it for me, and I guess I'll see you later. I'll put the link to the download in the description for Streamlabs OBS, and you guys have fun.